Okay, we're a couple of days after the original video, and we've got a light bar in there, and we've got some fog lights in there as well. We're gonna go over that. So, where are we sitting with your light bar brackets now? Because everyone's asking about them, and we're probably gonna be a little bit of a delay in between when this is all releasing, but now you've got it all figured out.
Yeah.
And now you just have to go to production, get the brackets powder coated, make some instructions, and get them up on your website.
Yeah, so it'll probably be 3 weeks till we get the brackets because they're going to get laser cut, bent, powder coat. Probably maybe another couple weeks we'll try and work on developing the installation instructions at the same time. I know there are some YouTube videos already how to take the front end off, so you might be able to leverage some of those videos as well, but we can give a quick kind of overview of what needs to be done to install it here. So yeah, probably 3 to 4 weeks out, so give us about a month or so, and then we'll be able to have these. We might start taking pre-orders as well. Since you guys will be wanting them now, so we'll probably take
maybe
pre-orders now.
pre-orders might be a good thing to where.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is down in the description of this video, you'll be able to find a link to their website, and if it's pre-orders, that'll be a positive thing, and then you can at least get your pre-order in. So as soon as they're available and boxed and ready to ship, then they can go out to you. So let's go over real quick here what you did and what is the significance of this bracketry and kit and everything, and what it's involved, and just kind of give people an overview if they're thinking about doing something like this.
Yeah, so it was a pretty straightforward bracket. As far as this, we obviously designed it specifically around the Baja Designs 40-inch S8 light bar. We did slot the bracket so that you could have a little bit of play in there. So you can't really go much wider than this bracket, but you could probably go maybe an inch overall shorter.
For
So
the possibility of maybe another light manufacturer that's a little bit different dimensions.
Right, if they don't have the exact same dimensions as the S8 bar. But that would be, we obviously haven't tested that, but we did want to make sure that we did that just in case there's any sort of variables that we can maybe make it work with something else.
Okay, so the brackets right now are for the S8 40-inch light bar, and then as other light bars are tested and whatnot, then you'll include those on your website.
Correct.
Or if you have to make another bracket SKU or something like that.
Right, exactly. So, as other trucks come in, people wanting to try maybe a rigid light or whatever else is a single row that can fit within that height. You really can't go with a thicker bar than this S8. This S8 just clears literally top and bottom.
This S8 is made for this truck.
It sure seems like it. Like it could not be any closer in fitment.
And even to the point to where you said your kit's gonna come with new cap screws because
the hex bolt was just a little bit too big where it would actually touch the bumper. Yeah. So we include cap screws that will give you that sort of clearance.
So for someone at home that wants to possibly order a light and brackets like this, what's kind of labor time like? How intense is it to install something like this?
Yeah, so if you're not familiar with working on vehicles, maybe 4 or 5 hours if you're including some of the electrical. It also depends on how you're going to be wiring it up. There's a lot of variables in that, so I'll leave that out.
Yeah, so minus wiring, because there's a lot of different possibilities on what wiring kits and all that stuff, but just the physical mounting the bar in place.
Yeah, I would say probably 3 to 4 hours. It's not hard, it's just tedious stuff. Like you do have to pull the front end off, but it sounds daunting, but it's really not that bad. I can give you kind of a quick run through of how that would happen. So you do pull the fender liner out a little bit, pop these flares out. These caps come off. There's a little 7mm screw back here, and the rest is all just snapped on. You do the same for both sides. On this specific truck, as you have the camera, which I'm sure most of the AEV editions do, there's a camera connection right behind this panel here. And then for the camera sprayer, there's a connection right on the other side, almost in the same spot, but on the driver's side. And then once that's off, there's a little cover for the radiator, and then you'll pop that out, and then 4 screws on the top of the grill, and the rest of it just snaps right out.
Okay.
And then you have full access to the bolts back there.
So that's pretty much all you have to do to get to that point.
Correct.
And
no removal of the actual bumper itself.
And just for sake of, I didn't even talk to you about this yet, but if someone has that all apart, then you're just already right there. I think that opening's up for the fog lights as well, right?
The fog lights we can actually access just by removing the fender liner.
Got it.
But yeah, if you do have this all apart, it is pretty easy to just add the S1 lights as well.
I'm trying to upsell people here. If they're already doing this, we might as
well. Yeah, you might as well just go in there. I mean,
knock it out, right?
Yeah, I mean, it saves time, and it does give you easier access to back there than if you were to try and just do it from the fender liner.
Okay.
So if you're going that, you might as well add the S ones at the same time as well. Get all the light that you can up front.
Perfect. And just from your point of view of what you've been doing with these trucks, what have you been using for triggering for switches for something like this?
Yeah, so on my personal truck, I do have the factory GM upfitter switches that we did do all the work to run everything to a bus bar in the engine bay. There's a few other options that have been really popular. The Garmin power switch, which is probably the easiest solution. You just mount it in the engine bay, run your wires to that, and then it's all wireless control through either Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, or through your phone. We also recommend the Baja Designs S-Pod switch system, or even the Switch Pros as well. So those are kind of the three that we highly recommend, that we install all the time and put our trust behind.
And I've been bouncing a lot of ideas and questions off of Wyatt nonstop because I'm still not sure what I'm going to do to trigger it all. But we're going to tackle that at a later date. Today was just making sure that that light got in there, and then we can move forward with it. So stay tuned if you're wondering what I'm going to do. But Wyatt does have a really nice setup on his Chevy. He was showing me how everything goes really nicely to the engine bay, and then he's able to grab each trigger, each pull for each switch really easily and nicely.
Yeah, so we did the legwork to run all the wires into the engine bay and then just put a little bus bar there so that we can just terminate any additional wires to that bus bar in the engine bay.
And just to make more aware, like a lot of these other aftermarket, you know, Switch Pros and some of the other ones, they have a system, a brain that will be in the engine compartment. And so that's what makes one of the easier ways to wire everything, is because it's right in the engine bay. And then there's only one wire that goes to the controller inside the cab of the truck. The problem with the factory plug or factory switches is that the fuse box is underneath the dash. So that means you have to run wires through the firewall, which is a lot more tedious. So it's just all in what you want to achieve and what functions you want.
Exactly, yeah. It's always easier to run that one wire than anytime you add additional lights, you just go to the engine bay. But yeah, on the GM one, unless you do what I did and run all the wires at once into the engine bay and then just tap into that as I'm adding additional
You definitely did it a lot smarter. I didn't even consider that until you brought it up, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. And I think that is definitely the way to go if I end up going with that factory switch panel.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Is there any other details about this?
I mean, it's a pretty straightforward installation. But yeah, just having like some of the like panel popping tools, and one actually little tip is when you pull the fender liner out and you're pulling these, you can actually use a 7mm socket and push it behind the push pin so that you're not trying to sit here yanking on the flare and probably will break a few clips. You can push on them from the backside with a 7mm, and that's one of the benefits of taking the fender liner out, is you can access the back of that flare.
Okay. And then just since we're already talking about this, we brought up the fog lights. Those are your brackets that you have already in stock on the website. Yeah. And I'll put a link for those down below. And then just so everyone knows, that does not require any other harness or anything.
No, it is fully plug and play. Yeah, so it works with the factory fog light switch.
That's great. And you can, I did amber, but you can do clear.
Yep.
And you can do clear on the 40-inch bar as well.
Yeah, so and you can do all, you know, Baja Designs offers various amount of lens patterns. Yeah, clear, driving combo, wide cornering, spot lenses, and then you have just clear amber for the S1 side of things.
Okay. Well, if anyone has questions about these brackets or the fog lights, like I said, bear with him. He's going to have to go through all the process of manufacturing and everything, but all the details down below in the description as they come alive on the website. We'll put a link on the description for that. And if you guys have any questions for Wyatt, you can get a hold of him. I'll have a link down below for how to get a hold of him, phone number and website and everything else in between. Thank you very much for doing this. I've been wanting this for a very long time, and I honestly don't understand why no one else has put these brackets out.
I don't know.
So,
yep, well, we'll be the ones.
You'll be the ones. All right, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video.
Thank you.